Can Richmond compete for a CAA Championship and an FCS Playoff bid? Hello, Spider fans everywhere and college football fans across America and around the world. It's Satchmo with the Spider Gang. Glad to be back for the season's first episode of Spider's Prologue. I'm going to give you my opinion on what I think the Spiders will do this year. I'm optimistic that if we can answer some outstanding questions and solve some unknowns, that we will have a chance to compete for that championship and that playoff bid. I'll start with the offensive side of the ball. Will the offensive line be able to gel into a cohesive, effective unit around the anchors Yarborough and Coleman? If they can, it'll help solve two other outstanding questions and unknowns. It'll give a current starting quarterback, Kevin Johnson, time to come up the learning curve. We don't know for sure whether we'll get the cool, calm, collected Kevin Johnson we saw step in so effectively for Kyle Lauletta in the 2016 season, or a more typical, inexperienced FCS quarterback who takes some time to come up the learning curve. I'm pretty confident, like many Spider fans, that Kevin Johnson's got what it takes to be an outstanding Spiders quarterback, but he won't be able to do it unless our offensive line can control the line of scrimmage. The other thing is our rushing attack. It struggled last season, particularly in short yardage situations. We really need an effective running game to help control the clock, keep the defense off the field, and particularly help us in those short yardage situations. We've got a great stable of running backs. You know who they are: Goodall, Collins, Thompson, Palmer, and others. If our offensive line can control the line of scrimmage, those running backs should give the Spiders back their effective rushing game. Then on the defensive side of the ball, Coach Huesman, as a former defensive coordinator and now Spiders head coach, had to be a little disappointed in last year's defense. The transition to the new scheme probably took longer than he and his staff would have liked, but we all know we got a lot better at the end of the season. But we gave up about 25 points a game last year. We'll have to do much better than that. We've got a lot of talent on the defensive line at linebacker and a lot of good athletes and speed and new faces in the defensive backfield. If our defense can step it up to what I know the players and the coaches expect, that will help us tremendously. One of the other unknowns is how the Spiders will deal with a murderous CAA schedule. Our first 4 CAA games feature 3 of the preseason top 4 CAA teams. We could have a much better team than last year and it not show up in the record. We need to do well against some of the CAA's best to pull this off and compete for a championship. My outlook is that the Spiders find a way to go 7-4. I think that gives us a shot, not a guarantee, at a playoff spot and potentially to compete for a championship. How do we get there? There are all kinds of different ways, and I'm no Karnak, but I expect that means we'll have to go 2-1 in our outer conference games and 5-3 in our CAA contest. And we'll probably have to beat at least a couple of those top CAA teams to convince the folks at the end of the year that we deserve a playoff spot. So that's it for my outlook, Spider fans. Next up, in less than a week, kickoff against UVA on September the 1st. We'll have another prologue coming up in the days ahead for that game. Go Spiders! So long for now.